So for this step, we're going to take, and instead of rolling from all four sides, we're going to flick from all four sides. Now we've got a nice vacuum here, so our package isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to shift, and we're going to just flick it gently for about 50 flicks. Okay, so instead of 50 rolls, we're just going to do 50 flicks. I like to hold the plastic taut between my fingers and then just gently lift and drop back down. Another good reason to have that piece of toweling underneath is that any moisture that gets flicked out of the edges will be caught by that towel that's there. And I think 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's our 50. Turn it a quarter of a turn, and we're going to do the same. What's happening is that because there's no air, because there's no chance for those fibers to move anywhere except to interlock with each other, the felting is happening while we're doing this gentle flicking motion. This is the agitation that we would normally do with massaging or with rolling. This is an alternate way to get your felting started, and it makes for a rapid bit of pre-felt to occur that enables you to keep your project moving even quicker. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And another quarter of a turn, and then we go for another 50 flicks. So you can see we're not really moving the package at all. We are simply getting those fibers agitated and irritated enough to connect to their fellow fibers that are next to them to start forming a pre-felt. Don't get too wild and crazy, because if you do, you could dislodge your fiber package around the resist. But as long as you're being pretty gentle, you're allowing it to be sort of a flickering motion that you're doing instead of a slapping hard, you're just doing a flicking motion, that is going to give enough vibration, enough agitation to the package for it to begin felting. And we'll turn to this fourth side. If you find that the plastic is shifting a little bit and you feel that you need to stretch it out, you can, but I think we're doing well here. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we've gone all four sides. Now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same each direction, 50 flicks, the same on this side, 50 times each direction. And we'll do that speeded up here. Okay, our package has been flicked on the second side, the same number of times as it was on the first side, and now we're peeling the plastic apart. And I can tell you that the felting is beginning. However, I can still see a little bit of room between the additional fibers that we added and our base of merino. So what I'm going to do next is take and add some more soap, because soap is always a good thing at this stage. And I'm just pressing it in to the top of those embellishment fibers. And then I'm going to give just a tiny little bit of a massage, just to get those all nicely soaped up. And I'm rubbing in all directions. And I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to add some soap on this side. It is always better to start out from a place of more soap and more water than it is to start out with less, because you need that soap and water to encourage the fibers to do what we need them to do, and that is to bind to one another. I'm going to move the plastic off to the side. I have a piece of bubble wrap over here that I'm going to use. And we're just going to keep working our hat back and forth for a bit, rubbing in all directions so that we can build up a nice felt. Notice I'm running my fingers right along the edge here, and I'm going to do that same motion on the flip side, so that when it comes to these edges where we're hoping to round that out, we are going to have those fibers nicely connected. Now I noticed when my hand was coming across there that a few of the fibers were pulling up with my hand, so I am going to soap it down on both sides really, really well, and then I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of the moisture. I want more soap than water at this point in time. So let's add some soap directly to the bubble wrap here. Still have my toweling underneath. This is where your microfiber towels come in very handy, because you can take them and you can work a small piece like this hat on top of a microfiber towel, and it will keep any mess from dripping down on your floor, on your table. But you do have to have your hands slippery enough to run across the top of the bubble wrap. Now I've got the bubbles on the inside. That's because I want my agitation with my hand going all the way around this to hit ups and downs, and that's what the bubbles provide, a little extra agitation. And again, I am working my hands along the edges. If your hands aren't wet, get a little bit of that soapy water over here. All right, let's take a look at our embellishment of fibers and see if they are staying in place. It looks to me like they are indeed staying in place, and that is good news for us. So this next step is the last of the first part of the process that you will do. What I want you to do after we do this next part is let your piece rest until tomorrow or 2 days from now. As long as you get back to it within a few days, even a week, you'll be fine. But it needs to rest for at least 12 hours. And my reasons for that are not, I'm sure they're scientific at some point, but I don't know the science enough about it. I just know from my own personal experience that when I let a wet felting project rest in between getting it to a pre-felt state and the final felted state, I get a stronger felt, and I get a piece that felts a little quicker. So that is my reason for having you stop after this next step. What's the next step? You're going to take and you're going to wrap the piece up in the bubble wrap, and then you're going to wrap it right up in a towel, and we're going to give it 50 quick rolls. $20, $30, $40, $50. We're going to open it up. Going to unroll it. So I rolled from the brim end toward the tip end. Now I'm going to flip it over and work it from the tip end toward the brim end. Again, just rolling it up tightly and then taking and rolling it right there in the microfiber towel and another 50 rolls. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and there's our 50. And I am going to show you, can you see how the edge is buckling up a little bit? You can feel that our resist is starting to buckle inside. So we know that the felting is beginning. And that is a good place to let it sit until 12 hours from now when we'll do the next step of this. Have fun. Can't wait to see your hats. See you in the next stage.